from lung cancer.
And this last time I was in, I didn't know it, but they said I was going to die in 24 hours, but I didn't. So I took the oil and everything worked out right.
But the Legion isn't budging. They've suspended the entire executive of this branch, along with any activities planned for the building, until they install a new management team.
There is no provincial or federal regulation which states that this marijuana can be grown and produced into hemp oil for medicinal purposes. And therefore, it's illegal as far as the province is concerned. And the Royal Canadian Legion does not back illegal operations.
Simpson has had trouble with the law. The RCMP confiscated 1,600 marijuana plants from his backyard last year. Plants he claims were grown for medicinal purposes. A court case is unresolved, and so are questions within the Legion about whether hemp oil is medicine or menace.
That goes against the general bylaws of the Royal Canadian Legion.
What I did, I'm proud of what I did. I'm proud of it.
And for now, since the Legion is the town's only meeting place, getting the word out about hemp oil will prove to be more difficult. In McCann, Nova Scotia, this is Global National's Ross Lord reporting.
Because they had us under martial law, we couldn't make a decision except for the 4 management committee members who I feel betrayed all the other members. They come in, they took our freedom of speech away. We weren't allowed to talk about why they shut us down. So why were they there? I mean, when you shut a Royal Canadian Legion down, you owe the members and the executive and at least an explanation of why you shut them down. And if they shut us down over a cure for cancer, then who's doing the right thing, us or them?
Canada is in a cancer epidemic.
I had to blame somebody.
Their silence is killing us.
Part of the natural process of life.
Chemical is innocent until it's proven guilty.
It's not that simple.
When I first got diagnosed, it was the why me. You know, it's not in my family. I've tried to be healthy. I eat my veggies. I exercise a lot, and I try to live pretty clean lifestyle.
Shopping for healthy foods, eh?
Yeah. We know all those things. Those things are great, but there must be other things going on. It's not about me. It's why is it now 1 in 2 who have this stupid disease, and what are we doing about it?
Good to see you, Wendy. How are you?
Dr. Sam Epstein, he's a professor at the University of Chicago, and he's written this book called Cancergate. He's very outspoken about what we're not being told. He's a pathologist with solid science behind him.
There is now a growing and a critical demand for the role of corporate social responsibility for winning the losing cancer war. The facts are this. These are clear data showing that Canada is in a cancer epidemic. Nearly 1 in 2 men and more than 1 in 3 women are getting cancer in their lifetime.
This is what Canadians are told about prevention, the 7 steps to health.
The Canadian Cancer Society have ignored or trivialized these concerns and told the public if you get cancer, it's your own fault. You smoke too much, which is actually right, I'm not smoking. Or you drink too much, or you're obese, or you don't exercise enough. It's a lack of healthy lifestyle. It's your fault when you get cancer.
And
it's not because we have taken no action to reduce avoidable exposures to carcinogens.
Whose fault is it?
It is the fault of the Canadian cancer establishment, who have not informed the public. The consumer has to realize 2 things: that their basic rights as Canadian citizens is being denied and challenged by the government, by the cancer societies.
But they're there to save lives, the Canadian Cancer Society.
The more money you spend on cancer, the more cancer you get. And the reason why is there's been virtually no movement in the field of prevention.
So what are we spending all the money on?
Well, we're spending the money on screening, diagnosis, and treatment. In other words, damage control.
chemo drugs and...
You wait till they get the cancer, and then you try and treat it. As such, the more drugs are bought, the higher the profit. Now, the more disease there is, the greater the profit.
I'm in Paris because there's a huge international conference here full of some of the biggest drug companies in the world who are pitching their latest cancer treatments. And cancer is a huge business worth billions of dollars, and they get a big chunk of that. So I want to ask them what they're doing to fight the cancer epidemic.
A big part of the story is about money. Obviously, there are limited amounts that Canada can spend on cancer, and at the moment, the biggest chunk of that money goes towards the drugs and the treatments. Obviously, big bucks at stake at the pharmaceutical conference. And they kept talking about, oh, there's so much stuff in the pipeline.
What is your company doing to fight cancer? What are you doing to fight cancer?
It helps to feel better when you have chemotherapy.
So how's business?
Great.
How's business?
Business is right.
So how big a part of your business is cancer drugs now?
It's 80%.
We got drugs in breast cancer, drugs in colorectal cancer.
We're a cancer company, yeah. Cancer treatment company.
Do you have anyone in your family who has
With cancer? My father.
Oh, really? What
He
kind?
died.
Sativa strains produce an oil that is a very good antidepressant and tends to energize a person. But most of the hemp oil I produce comes from indica strains. Indica strains tend to relax a person and give them more sleep. Rest and sleep are part of the healing process. Place the starting material, preferably good bud, in a plastic container. Dampen the bud material in the container with the solvent you are using. Then crush the bud material. After the bud has been crushed, add more solvent until the material is completely covered. I generally use pure naphtha, but 99% isopropyl alcohol also works well as a solvent, as do many other substances. Work and stir the contents to let the THC dissolve into the solvent. This process takes 2 to 3 minutes. Drain the solvent from the starting material and put it through a coffee filter. The solvent now resembles the color of gasoline due to the presence of the hemp oil in the solvent. Make sure the area where you are going to boil the solvent off is very well ventilated. The idea is to carry the fumes away from the boiling solvent to reduce the danger of an explosion or fire. Special care must be taken to avoid red-hot elements or a spark of any kind that could ignite the fumes from the solvent. I have found that an electric rice cooker boils the solvent off very effectively. Bring the solvent oil mix in the rice cooker to a boil. Use a fan to carry the fumes from the solvent away. As the solvent boils off, continue adding more solvent oil mix until it is gone. As the level in the boiling pot comes down for the last time, add 8 to 10 drops of water. Since the boiling point of water is much higher than the boiling point of the solvent used, this water that was added allows the solvent to be released as the oil thickens. As the last of the solvent is being released, it is a good idea to lift the rice cooker and keep the contents in the cooker moving. This helps release any remaining solvent and also protects the oil from too much heat. At no time should the temperature of the oil go over 290 degrees Fahrenheit. Gently pour the oil from the rice cooker into a small metal container. Put this container with the oil into a dehydrator, or put the container on a gentle heating device such as a coffee warmer. It may take a few hours to evaporate the water off the oil. In the end, there should be no bubbling or other activity on the surface of the oil. When the oil is hot, it is quite runny, but as it cools, the oil takes on the consistency of a thick grease. Generally, a pound of good hemp bud will produce about 2 ounces of high-grade oil. Ingesting this amount of oil over a 2 to 3 month period is enough to cure most serious cancers.
I started taking it because I ended up with chronic pain from a blood clot from my last operation, and there was nothing they could give me except standard pain pills, which I can't take because I get addicted to them right overnight and they're just too hard on my system. Every pain pill I've ever tried has caused me nothing but grief, and like I say, if I take them for more than a week, then I'm looking for them all the time. So I call that addiction, I don't know, whatever medical term you want to put on it. But they destroy me is what they do, because I got no strength, no energy, no pain for a few days, but then the side effect of pain pills is pain. But yes, I'm definitely a believer because, I mean, I'm walking proof of it. And don't we all deserve to feel better, right? Without destroying ourselves? I think it's terrible the amount of drugs that they shove into everybody, and we're the little robots, right? We're told to take that, so take that, doesn't matter. They just tear me apart. I mean, they're just not good for my system. Well, they're not normal, right? I mean, anything that starts working against you, and of course you ask them, what does this actually do? They never really know. It might help you. Well, you're talking about your life or death. Might's not good enough. I ripped all the muscles off the bone years ago. Well, four-wheeler, pulling it out of the mud, but yeah. Anyway, like I say, I get cortisone shot for it, but it still wouldn't work. I could grab it, pull it down, but to just reach back and do something like that, just didn't want to go there anymore. I was told by the doctor that would never come back in my shoulder because it had literally ripped the muscle off of the bone. He said it'll get to the point where you can use it, but that's always going to cause you trouble and never work right again. That was his opinion. And he was right up until I started taking the oil.
Eric's father got diagnosed with fast-acting lung cancer and was given 6 months to live. And because I had recently read about it, I said, well, what about hemp oil? And just to see what his reaction was. And so maybe, you know, I said, had you read about it in the paper? Like, maybe we should talk about it.
Once I found out that it would work on this, I said, well, sure, I'm willing to try it. And never go back now, I can tell you that. After talking to Rick, he said, you know, it works on chronic pain. I said, well, I'm your candidate to try that because I've lived that since '99, every day of my life. You know, I go to bed with it, I get up with it. If I wake up in the middle of the night, it's there. It just never went away. Now I get a full night's sleep. I feel good when I get up in the morning. The pain's never back the way it was.
I always knew that marijuana was medicinal. I knew it worked for glaucoma.
Oh, my eyes, my glaucoma. Yo, gee, I forgot about that. Yeah, glaucoma, I have that bad. Mine was up to I don't know if you people understand too much about glaucoma, but anyway, the pressure in your eyes, that's what it is. One eye's down to 14 and the other one's 16 from 31, 32. I feel a lot better. 10 times better. I get no pain in my legs now. My eyesight's improving, and I'm proud of my face. It's wrinkled up, but I ain't got the big holes in there like I had, and stuff running from them. I feel much better. I don't know what I'd have done if I hadn't come across Mr. Simpson. I might not be sitting on this chair today.
I take it twice a day, usually in the morning and at night. So, and out of that, well, like I say, a drop is all I take. And that's all you need. Because, I mean, I don't have anything terminally picking away at me, right? Well, that I know about. Anyhow, I don't figure I ever will have now.
After I used it, and it did clear up these symptoms I had, 20 years younger. Physically, 20 years younger.
It is taking that pain out of my back, that aching out of my back that I had from those 3 back injuries that I've had for so long, and just having that pain out of my back, it has changed my life. I can sleep again. I can lay down again. I can sit up and get in a chair. I mean, there were so many nights that I laid there at the kitchen table at 2 o'clock in the morning crying because this aching, you know, it just wouldn't go away. And to have that gone in itself was fine with me. Like anything else, I said, okay, I can handle anything else. I'm rid of this now, you know, type of thing. And it's a God's blessing.
It eliminated the pain enough that I can function perfect.